What is up, my peepholes? This is your guy, Cly, and welcome back to Budget Buys. Now today, what I'm going to be taking a look at is the Amazmic Bluetooth Karaoke microphone. And just like a lot of my more recent reviews, this product was provided free of charge by the manufacturer for this review, but no other compensation exchanged hands, so all views expressed in this video are my own. That out of the way, let's talk about this little guy. First off, I want to say this is a very nice case that you get with the microphone, and they didn't go with a generic case. This looks to be custom fit. I'm actually quite impressed. Now, aside from the microphone, you undoubtedly notice that you get a few other things in here, so let me go ahead and pull these out and get the case out of the way. So what you end up getting is the user manual, a couple of puffs to put on your microphone. I'm assuming that's not for stopping plosives, though they might do it. Those seem more for hygienic reasons, in case you're passing the microphone around. It is a karaoke mic after all. And I can't forget the two cables that are included with the mic. And one of them's not exactly what you think, but I'll talk about that shortly. Alright, I've gone ahead and pulled in the shot a little bit because I want to touch on a few things in regard to this microphone's build quality before we move on to the functionality. And the first of those things is actually the microphone capsule itself. If I go ahead and unscrew the shield here, what we're working with appears to be a 9 to 10 millimeter electret condenser microphone capsule. And if you think that's unimpressive, I should point out that the microphone that I've been using in all of my videos thus far, at least the ones where I've got the overhead camera, that's what I've been using, a 9mm condenser capsule. So this is surprisingly powerful, and I'll demonstrate that later. I do want to mention that this uses what appears to be a cardioid pickup pattern, because if you address it from the side, you're not going to really hear anything, and it definitely doesn't pick up what's coming out of the speaker. And that's really smart design. You have to sing at the front and you're not going to be getting any feedback, so kudos on that. Also, if you haven't noticed from me playing with it this whole time, it's mounted on a bit of silicone right here, and that acts as a bit of a rudimentary shock mount, so you can jostle this while using it and not have to worry about picking up any clanging or any impacts that you're going to have. Once again, good design. Let me put this back on and I'll be right back to show you the next part. The next feature I want to point out actually resides at the opposite end of the microphone. Let me go ahead and unscrew the sheath we have on the handle here, and can you see it? We have a battery compartment. Now, this microphone is actually charged via micro USB, so this is a rechargeable battery, but it can be user replaced quite easily. It just pops in and out as if you were dealing with a AA. This uses a relatively generic lithium-ion rechargeable battery, or at least I think it's lithium-ion. That's what I always see these listed as. And if at some point during your ownership of this, the battery stops functioning, you can replace it very easily and very cheaply. And yes, all batteries are prone to failure. It's happened in a lot of my name brand consumer tech, and most of the time you have to unscrew the housing and desolder a battery from a motherboard and resolder in a new one. The fact that this little karaoke microphone has a user replaceable battery is a huge bonus. Last but not least, let's talk about the connectors we have on this microphone. If I just lift it up and angle it ever so slightly so that we can get a little reflection here, I kind of regret ordering the black microphone now, you can see a 3.5mm jack, which I want to point out is not a line in. This is actually a line out for hooking this up to a different karaoke machine or some kind of speaker when you're in a much larger party-like setting. Over here, we have a micro SD port, and here we have a micro USB, which surprisingly is actually the line-in jack as well. Remember how at the beginning of the video I said those cables were not exactly what you expected them to be? Well, that's because one of them is indeed a micro USB cable for charging the microphone, and the other is a micro USB cable with a 3-prong TRRS connector at the other end. And basically, by plugging this into the microphone like so, you are able to input audio from your phone, and because it's TRRS, you can actually use it as a microphone with your phone. And of course, if you do want to use it as a microphone with something else, I would suggest the 3.5mm jack because it's more of a standard audio output. Now that I've covered pretty much everything else, let's talk about the functionality of this microphone. And before moving forward, I want to issue one minor warning. If you're going to be playing music from a micro SD card, if it's plugged into your mic when you turn it on, it will autoplay. It'll play the first song on the list each and every time, and that spooked me a little bit the first time I did it. However, if you want to be a little bit evil and play a prank on one of your friends, hand them this microphone to use right after you've loaded it up with a couple of interesting audio files. Like a scream sound effect, a little grindcore music, or whatever. Just make sure to use either the letter A or the number 1 as the title, so it's guaranteed to be the track that plays when you turn this little guy on. With the autoplay warning out of the way, let's go ahead and turn this microphone on using the very large middle button. Now, this microphone does default to Bluetooth mode, but I'm not actually going to be demonstrating that for the purposes of this video because at the end of the day, it is just another Bluetooth speaker, and I'll be showing you audio quality using the micro SD card I mentioned earlier. Now, on the front of the microphone, you've got 3 little sliders in addition to the standard buttons here, and those are for the volume of the microphone, which I have it turned off now, so you're not going to hear me talking out of this while talking into the microphone I'm wearing. You have echo mode, which literally is just an echo mode, and I should point out if you plug in a pair of headphones on the 3.5mm jack and have that turned on, you're going to have a speech jammer and it gets kind of funky. So if you want to do real-time speech jamming at one of your parties, keep that in mind. Last but not least, we have a slider for controlling the music volume. Down here, we have, of course, the power button, mode button, which I've covered before, as well as a back and forward with a play pause at the bottom. Now with all of that out of the way, let's do a music-free test of the microphone. So let me turn on this volume right here. You notice how you can't hear me? That's because I have to be talking into the top like I mentioned earlier. Very good design for a microphone like this, I must add. Let me bring this up and I'll point the speaker at my lavalier so we can see if I can't get a little bit of additional boost. All right, here we go. I'm talking into the microphone and it's actually pretty clear. Just be sure you don't get too close and leave a plosive. And I should point out, if used properly, you can actually use this as a PA system on the go. It's pretty well designed, I'm not gonna lie. I keep saying that, but it's true. I've never used a microphone like this that had this many features jammed into it. The last one I bought, with an attempt to review, was from Five Below, and it was literally just microphone, speaker, Bluetooth, that's it. Now let's do the echo effect and bring this back over. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to do that for much. I'm already jamming myself. And enough of that. Ugh, I hate that part. It's good when you don't have the speaker pointed at yourself, and it's good when you don't have a pair of headphones on, but because I was pointing the speaker at my lavalier mic, I was already slipping into speech jammer territory. It doesn't help that I'm very sensitive when it comes to the human voice, so my ear kind of snaps to it anyway. It's a very annoying problem to have. Now, before I jump into testing out the audio quality, I do want to point out one thing. You've probably noticed the LEDs blinking on the back of the microphone this whole time, and those actually serve a little bit of a purpose. Now, when you're doing standard line in, they're just going to be doing the same little idle animation you've got here, where it starts at the bottom, goes to the top, and comes back down. However, if you're playing music either over Bluetooth or from the micro SD card, you're actually going to have the lights react to the music. I have learned, however, while using this speaker, that they do seem to react to bass and treble kind of independently. Most of the music I listen to is melodic death metal, like I've mentioned many a time before, and that's very bass-heavy music. So what ends up happening is the music barely goes beyond the green. But if I switch it up to power metal, I can sometimes hit the purple. And it's become a little bit of a personal challenge of mine to find songs that hit all of the colors, because I'm a weirdo. Now, if we flip this over, I've already plugged in the micro SD card and cut out the part of the video where I learned the micro SD card will autoplay even when the microphone is turned on, and I might have jumped a little bit. That part no longer exists. It's been cut, deleted, and forgotten. Except for the part where I just acknowledged it. So, let's hit the button. And of course, that is YouTube audio library music, so I won't get flagged. Now, as you notice, the audio quality coming out of this little guy is actually quite impressive. It's a 5 to 6 watt speaker, at least that's what the manual claims, so I'm guessing the additional watt comes from some sort of audio boosting you get at max volume. And every song I've played on it has been crystal clear. Now, let me turn this off and get to the wrap up. Alright, so the time has come for me to render a verdict on the Amazmic Bluetooth karaoke microphone. And I'll admit, I don't really have much experience when it comes to karaoke. However, I do have a good bit of experience when it comes to microphones and Bluetooth speakers, if you couldn't tell by the last quite a few videos on my channel. And for the price, I'm definitely going to say this is worth the money. Now, I didn't mention the price of this product at the beginning of the video, so let me go ahead and do so now. The Amazmic Bluetooth karaoke microphone comes in at $30, and I'm going to say it's worth every penny. It sounds a lot better than many $30 Bluetooth speakers that I've played with, and the fact that it has not only the ability to output your voice over that speaker while avoiding feedback from the speaker itself, thanks to the choice of a cardioid condenser capsule, but the fact that you not only have micro SD MP3 support, the ability to output the audio to a proper sound system, and even use this with your smartphone to record sing-along videos, all of that is icing on the cake. In fact, in preparation for this video, I did do a little bit of research on Bluetooth karaoke microphones, and in a lot of cases, you're going to be paying a good bit more for a whole lot less than you get right here. So if I've sparked your interest in this microphone, I'm going to go ahead and link to the Amazon page down below. And until next time, this is your guy, Cly, signing off.